what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another 3D Hangouts.
Spooky episode of 3D Hangouts.
My name is Noah Ruiz. I'm a designer at Adafruit. Joining me every week is my brother Pedro, also a designer.
Good morning, everybody. Creative Tech here at Adafruit. And every week we're here to share 3D printed projects featuring electronics from Adafruit.
That's right. This is a show where we combine 3D printing and spooky electronics to make inspirational projects. Hello, everybody hanging out in the Discord chat room. If you'd like to join us during the live show, we are hanging out in the Discord chat room. We'll take some shout outs, questions, comments, and we like GIFs, GIFs, memes. Those are always fun.
That is on over at discord.gg/Adafruit.
Yeah, that's true. Woo. Everybody, give us some ghost icons and some spooky emojis. Yes, we have a fun, glowy, spooky show planned for everybody. And yeah, we'll take some shout outs. Everybody hanging out. We got DJ Devin hanging out in the Discord chat room. Do Esther, hello, hello. Paul Cutler, good morning.
Also hanging out in the YouTube chat, Twitch, on Facebook, on Periscope. Shoutouts to Sean over on YouTube, on Twitch, and on Facebook. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to everybody hanging out all over the world.
Yeah, feel free to let us know if the audio cuts out at any point, because we had some little issues, as normal. Spooky, ghost in the machine type stuff.
Every time you have a high power draw,
yeah,
it takes the mic away.
Yeah. Yep. Even though it's a self-powered, it's powered Anyway, let's run through the show. We got some spooky ghosts.
Yes, it's the best time of the year.
Yeah, I like it.
Oh, I like that 8-bit.
Yeah, that's fun. I don't know if it animates when I... Anyway. Spooky coffee. Pumpkin spice.
Oh, this only works if I'm left-handed.
Oh.
And it's spooky cold. Dang it.
Oh.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and do the... Oh, I forgot the name of it.
The housekeeping.
Housekeeping.
It's fine. All right, we're going to head over to adafruit.com/free, find out all the latest deals, and here's what we got. If your order is $99 or more, you get a free half-size PermaProto. Love that board. And if you spend $149 or more, you get the half-size PermaProto Plus, the KB2040. If you spend $200 or more, you get the KB2040, the PermaProto half-size, and ground shipping for continental US only. That's free shipping. And if you spend $299 or more, you get the ground shipping, the KB2040, the half-size PermaProto, and the Blue Fruit Circuit Playground. So those are all great, and those get automatically added to your cart, so you don't need any coupons or anything like that. So yeah, check those out. If you want more details, adafruit.com/free. Next up, we'll hit up the jobs board at jobs.adafruit.com. You can find out all the latest gigs that are available. If you are looking for some folks to help you with your project, you can also post up positions. And if you are a maker, you can make your own profile so people can kind of search. So check those out at jobs.adafruit.com. It's Halloween in a few days. On Monday. And we got lots of fun projects, learn guides, blog posts.
Gift ideas.
The gift guides are really, really awesome. So check those out. Just hit up the blog and check them out. Lots of happenings. Lots of spooky happenings.
And I think since September, I've been posting all of the Halloween projects we've done over the years. So for any inspirations, check that out, or search Halloween in the Learn system.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Every project can be a Halloween project. Just about.
That's true.
All right. So... Oh, I'm not done with the things. You can check out the newsletters. There's a once-a-week newsletter. It's focused on products. You go to adafruit.com/newsletter. You can also check out the newsletter site, adafruitdaily.com, where you can subscribe to different categories of newsletters. They're on the daily. Some of them are on the weekly. Some of them are on the monthly. Shout out to Amberella and everybody who subscribed to the Python and microcontrollers newsletter. We're probably closer to 300. I don't know how this one is. But yeah, very, very fun. Great way to showcase projects from the community and just what's kind of happening in the world of Python. You can check out the CircuitPython Show podcast hosted by Paul Cutler. You can search in your favorite podcast service, check out the archives, or just go to the website. And back over to the Discord. We are ready to show the project if you want to just jump right into it.
Oh, this is great.
All right. Hey, what's up, folks?
Hello.
I'm not kidding you about the spookiness. It is spooky stuff going on here.
Verifying.
Yeah, verify. We'll give everybody a minute for all the
verified.
streams to kind of catch up.
All right, verified. We are back.
Yay. We'll probably go down again because there's still some weird power issues
I will
going on.
keep this headphone in my ear.
Yes, thank you. That's why I've been talking very fast, because I knew that things are going to happen. So, neon signs, right? These NeoPixel mini skinny strips are really fun. They have these built-in, diffusers, and I learned quite a bit of stuff by kind of cutting them and splicing them and trying to create these more intricate designs. Because the signs that we did, back in May, it happened again?
No,
No, okay. Back in May, were just simple, no like splicing involved. So this one was really heavy on the let's make different elements and splice them together. So the signs are kind of big, and they require a fairly large bed 3D printer. We're looking at 300 millimeters by 300 millimeters or 10 inch by 10 inch beds, which is what we're really fond of. We really, really enjoy our 3D printers. We can print big things, and you're gonna need a big printer. So they look small because there's some distance here, but here's my hand. All right, just to give you an idea of that. And here's our little Grim Reaper. So we came up with 3 different signs: the Grim Reaper with the scythe, the werewolf howling at the moon, and the hipster ghost. Not a hitchhiker ghost, a hipster ghost. There's always my way. I had to do that.
Or the highway.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. So let's talk about how this one's set up here. So let's take a look at the NeoPixel strips themselves. So this is like a little sliver, a little piece of the NeoPixel strip. And what I've learned is that you'll notice that there's edges that are different. This one has just nothing here, and then this one has a little bit of a clear window. You want to use that clear window to indicate where the cutoff points are for your NeoPixel strips. And oddly enough, here's one without the sheathing, and you'll notice that it's every 3 pixels that has these pads. And if you've ever worked with NeoPixels before, you know the 3 pads here. You get them both sided, but here, normally they let you do every single pixel. You can get really precise segments. But this one, however, is very different, unique. So what I recommend is taking a look at the data sheet. So let's take a look at the Adafruit blog. We're going to go in a tunnel real quick, but I'll get ourselves out of it if I'm fast enough. Almost there. So here's the products. They're in stock. So you get a meter long. That's 96 LEDs per meter. And they come kind of like this. They have connectors on both ends. And the guide that we'll walk through shows you how to kind of cut those and remove them. Best practices for those. So yeah, there's a data sheet. You scroll down. There's a nice link to the data sheet. And I really, really like this data sheet. It gives you an exact outline dimensions of the segments that have the kind of cuts there. So that's a really, really good thing. I think if I were to redesign these, I would consider where my cutoff points would be in the CAD stuff. But yeah, these are great data sheets, and you can find out all about the stuff with these NeoPixel strips. Yeah, I'm trying. So,
quick comment.
Sure.
From where am I? Devin3D says every 3 pads with some because the controller chip only shows up every 3 pixels, common with some BS28 on 2B strips. Excellent.
Cool. Now, one of the things I learned is that you never want to cut the sheathing on this side, the white side here, because you'll end up you might reveal the NeoPixel there, and that's going to kind of mess up the sun, or the light is going to have a real hot spot there. So you really want to just focus on cutting and revealing the pads on this side. So this is just like a mistake here, but I figure I'd let you folks know about it. Yeah, be very, very careful with them. I've ripped off some of these pads as well, so be very, very careful when you're handling them. Hot glue works really well for strain relief, and if I had more time, I would add hot glue to these edges here, because yeah, I highly recommend silicone cover stranded wire, because it's very, very flexible, and it's less likely to kind of break off. So I've been handling these a bunch, and thankfully these haven't ripped off yet. So what I ended up doing was kind of combining the ground to ground for these individual strips, and then voltage to voltage, and then using a USB extension cable that I cut off the connectors. That way you can just use one long wire instead of having 2 separate cables come out into your microcontroller. So that's why I recommend that. Heat shrink tubing is one of those things where you like, oh, I wish I added it first. So I can't recommend enough adding heat shrink tubing before you solder stuff. There's a meme out there, I think, about adding heat shrink tubing, but I wish I had more, because like I'd really like to kind of get these here. Wire lengths are very important as well if you want to hide your wire lengths and stuff. I was able to kind of use this data out going into this data in here, and that ended up working okay. I was able to kind of actually it's over here. I was able to kind of wrap this around, and that worked really well. And because the silicone stranded wire, they're grippy, and they kind of grip to the edges of these 3D printed signs. One thing I learned with the 3D printed signs is you want to add support, meaning like, look how floppy this is.
Ribs,
yeah.
wings. If
these weren't here, this would just be free floating and it won't work. So if I were to do this again, I'd probably add another support beam to connect this to that. I also added, these are very important here, to integrate the hook loops for hanging them up on various surfaces. I recommend the 3M hooks, so I designed it so that these fit in here like that, and then these are removable adhesives. One side is for the actual sign, plastic, and the other side is like meant for drywall. What kind of paint? Vinyl paint or whatever that paints for the walls. It works really well, so you can just kind of like remove it by just like using this tab here and like pulling it off. So that's kind of like a little ancillary thing, but I had to figure out about these hooks. Don't really cover that in the guide, but I'm sure folks know about these. They're very common these days. So that's just a bit of a nutshell of some of the things I learned when making these signs. The major thing though, however, that was very troubling is that the bend radius, bending these things, you cannot make a very sharp bend. So just keep that in mind. The more you bend it, the more likely you are to kind of break. pad, your strip. So be very, very cautious of that. I was very, moderate with the bend radiuses on all these, so they ended up working okay. The hardest one to design, in my opinion, was the werewolf. That went through 3 or 4 different iterations because I just didn't have, like, my corners were just too tight. So, take that as a bit of a tip, is to just try to make a shape that's very, very open and free flowing. The ghost was like the best one to do because it's all just curves, so it worked out really well for the NeoPixel strip. So kind of limiting, but this is one of those design constraints that you got to consider if you're making one of these signs, or at least designing them. Yeah, I think in a nutshell, it's pretty good. Audio's still running. That's great.
Audio is good, and really good tip from DJ Devin saying that the heat shrink tube actually comes in a roll, so you can get that one size specific to the size you need. It's a great value, so on the hunt for that roll.
I'm going to get it because I get these pre-cut ones, and I don't like using them.
I know, we always have to throw away a whole kit because I'm not going to use
I just want one. Yeah, I just want one size. But like for this ended up being okay. So that's the sign in a nutshell. Each one has its own challenges and kind of weirdness to it, but that's kind of in a nutshell all the things: supports, hook, and just your bend radiuses. I thought it'd be fun to 3D print a snap fit case that's in the shape of a coffin. So it's a 3-piece set, and when I open this up, you're gonna be scared. What happened to the cutie pie? I ran out of them, so I used the Pico. It's $5 board. Well, what's cool about it, when you use PermaProto boards, like this small mint proto boards, you can just add socket headers, so you can just pop this out. Oh boy, those 40 pins are nuts, huh? And I'm using the short socket headers so that they're nice and short. But I really like the small mint PermaProto board. It has lots of power and ground rails. You run out of those quickly if you're using the cutie pie or a feather. But there are, ground pins here, but I really like using the power and ground rails. So on the bottom of this is those, you can't see it here, but there's 2 wires that are connecting one of these power and ground rails to, the power and ground rails. I'm using this connector here. It's a 4-pin JSD connector. The wiring gauge is important here. They're thicker wires because you got lots of current coming to these power-hungry pixels. So that's why we're using one of these chunkier JST cables. But this is great because I can disconnect it and, thread this if I need to. When I filmed the project video, I kind of integrated it into this kind of frame thing. And I was able to because this wasn't soldered directly, I was able to disconnect it and thread it through some of the framing. So that worked out really well. It's a snap fit case, so 3 pieces. You got this frame that has some slots here for the USB connector and for the wire to pass through. The top cover doesn't have much to it, just has this little detail that looks nice. If you want to get these really cool stellar textures on the bottom of your 3D prints, you can get a powder coated bed, which is really nice. It gives you that lovely texture, and if you use glitter filament, it like kind of glistens and stuff, so it's really, really cool. It looks great. So it snap fits together, and then I have built-in standoffs to the bottom cover, 4 of them. I really, really like this PermaProto board because feather and the Pico or Pico and the cutie pies can all fit in here. I got some M3 screws and some hex nuts that just secure that to the board. And it's a great kind of modular system, and I'm glad I used and designed this bottom cover for the PermaProto board because now I can add any board to this that's this format, with the spacing and all that.
Mr. Certainly Bruce has a request.
Sure.
A guitar pedal that is in the shape of that coffin.
Oh, that'd be super cool. Yeah, more coffin shapes, more coffin projects.
DJ Devin says, good tip on the PermaProto. I didn't know the Pico could fit on that. Now we do have a specific cowbell proto for the Pico. It has the stemmas, 2 stemma QTs on each side. It has like the power rail.
Careful now, careful. Mounting holes are a very important thing, and that does not have mounting holes. So that's one of the things that your PermaProtos have mounting holes, and this one has 4 of them, which is great.
And it's more universal. The feather, all the other stuff's gonna fit on there. This one is mostly for the Pico, like with
yeah.
the reset button that's on there.
These come in a pack of 3, so that's really great.
Yeah.
I recommend picking up your 3-pack. And
they're
they're
in stock.
awesome, man. They're 3-hole plated. They have numbers and labels on them. They're really nice, man. I like them. I'm gonna use them for for like all the projects because I keep running into this where I run out of a board and I need to pop it out and pop in a new one. And yeah, that's becoming the theme here. Make it modular. Oh, you'll notice all these slots here. This is just for if you want to mount this to a wall, to a piece of wood, something else. That's why I always try to add slots, because if it didn't have any slots, then how would you stick, I guess, sticker or something like double-sided tape or something. But I really am a fan of using slots and an arrangement of them so you can mount it in also different ways.
Printing wise too, optimizes a little bit on the printing time too, not having to print an entire solid.
Yeah, it'll save you like 10 minutes of printing. So I like that. And the ventilation holes too for heat.
Yeah.
Which could be a good or bad thing, depending on where this is going to live.
Yep.
Wire cable colors is also a thing to consider. I really don't like the look of the black wire against the high contrast white wall. But then again, the Ghost one has, I was able to salvage one of the older iPod cables. And I was able to cut that up, and it's white and it's a little bit thinner. So it kind of worked out. So depending on where you want to print it, maybe consider your filament color as well. Is it, do you want to go with a dark color? Do you want to do the white color to kind of blend in with your background? Or maybe a glass window or something. But anywho, that's the case. I like it. And it's fairly large. You could probably fit a bigger board. Probably not a Metro, but it could rescale it, I guess, because it is parametric. And standard snaps. Everything snaps there. Screws are just to secure the board, but easy enough to open this up again. And pretty cool. Yeah.
Or as it's shown in the product image, it fits in a Altoid small tin case.
Yes, it does. Isn't that cool? I miss Altoids. Yeah.
Oh, and then a tip from DJ Devin saying you can get the cord covers for the walls to hide them no matter what color the cables are.
That's a great idea. All good, fine ideas. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, we can quickly look at the Learn Guide, and we'll just kind of run through it, because I'm trying to keep this under a half hour so we have plenty of time for all the things, but we got everything in stock, which is great. Amazing. It's great. Let's see some of the ancillary stuff. JST cables, those are all in stock. Ribbon cable, and I think that's it. Yeah, the female headers. I really like these what is it, 36 pin female headers here, and you can just snap them off. Boy, I can't quite get a good lock on this link. I'm trying to do right click, open a new tab, but it's,
I think if you hold
there it
command,
goes.
it'll do that.
These are real easy to cut. You can use flush diagonal cutters. They're short, so you get a nice low profile. I really like these, and I got myself a pack of them, and I'm still using them, so it's great. So you can create your own custom female header things, socket headers. And the male headers, header pins, those come with the Pico, I think. Maybe they don't, but they do come with any of the Adafruit boards. Yeah, so that's cool. Yeah.
Separate PIDs for that. One with, one without.
All right, next up is the circuit diagram, how to wire these up. It's basically 2 strips. Each strip gets a data pin. And in the CircuitPython code, you just create 2 objects. We'll run through it, but that's the gist of it. You can pick whatever data pin and just make sure that in the code you have that data pin. So you can change this up if it's a closer proximity to where you want it to be or whatever. So yeah. Let's see. CircuitPython, installing CircuitPython in the QtPy. We got a nice page that shows you how to kind of do the song and dance to install. You drag and drop the UF2 file, and it kind of flashes itself, which is really nice. And that's the part with CircuitPython. All right, so here's the code. It's using the LED animation library. I got a nice subset. I had to kind of make 3 independent pieces of code because each sign has its own, arrangement of strips and animations. So this first one here in the comments is the Ghost. So it's using the animation group and the animation sequence helpers. Also importing the color. Here's my NeoPixel objects. It's really good to name your pixel objects the thing. So for the Ghost, I have the Ghost pixels and the glasses pixels, and that helped me figure out, in the code, it helped me just label them so that I'm not using like strip A and strip B, because I was doing that and I was like quickly confused. I was like, what is going on here? So naming them is obvious, but I recommend it. You got the brightness stuff, and another important thing is the pixel order. I noticed the colors were not coming through correctly because the pixel order has to be, you have to explicitly say the order of the pixels. Other NeoPixels like GRB, but these like RGB. You'd think that that'd be the default, but it's not. So you have to explicitly say that. So for these specific pixels, the mini skinny neon ones, they like RGB pixel orders. But hey, it's all a part of the object, and you can easily change that. Each object has its own brightness. Well, not really. The brightness you can change, but what I was going to say is like the pixel count is different for each segment, so that's where you want to change that. Yeah. Let's see. So with the animation sequence, you can, synchronize the animations, or you can have them be sequential, where you have one happen and then the next one happen. And it's all just in brackets here when you're using the animation group function. So yeah, and then you have some extra doodads here with like the interval. How long do you want each animation to last? So you have that. And then you have whether you want them to be synchronized or not. You can just put true or false on that. So that was cool. Another thing I didn't know about is that a lot of the times when I'm importing the color helper for the LED animation library, I tend to like import each individual color. You actually don't have to do that. So in this case here, I say color equals color.white. You can just do that, color.white, instead of having to have this long list of colors in your top setup header. So that's kind of a cool thing I didn't know about. And then the loop, the while true loop, is just like animations.animate. It's super simple. But yeah, that's the ghost. The wolf one is this the wolf? No, this is the Grim Reaper. It's a little bit more simple. I just have a chase and a pulse. And then for the werewolf, it's actually a good example of like kind of creating a longer sequence. So I have blinking, I have a pulsing, I have
The chase.
a chase. I have all the animations, which is really cool to kind of see. You can create like this kind of cool little, animated effect where you're revealing things and hiding other things, which is kind of cool. But yeah, it's a lot of fun to come up with different sequences, and the LED animation library just makes it really, really easy. So shout out to the CircuitPython team for creating a great library. Beautiful. On to 3D printing. We got some parts. You can download the STLs or the CAD files. They're all there. You can always hit up the our CAD parts repo on GitHub if you want to download some 3D models of like the PermaProto board or the CutiePy. We got those for you there. Nothing really on the 3D printing part. Like they all print without any supports. You need a big volume, so 300 by 300. Yeah, that's really about it there. But you got the CAD source file, so if you want to import the step file into like Fusion or FreeCAD, you can modify the case if you want to make it bigger, smaller, thicker. All right, when it comes to the wiring, I ended up removing those silicone caps. They're like hot glued, so you're gonna have to like kind of chisel out the hot glue, but that's fair. And then just kind of gauging the segments for your strips. So just kind of doing that, finding out where the cutoff point is, and then using a hobby knife or an X-Acto knife to cut them.
Carefully.
And revealing, carefully, very carefully. But yeah, this just kind of walks through the wiring process and how you can use the USB extension cable to kind of reduce some of the wiring. Setting up your headers, there's some tips there on setting up your headers, and the PermaProto, getting those ground and voltage rails wired up, getting the connectors in the right spots. That's fairly it. For the assembly, you just need a couple of M3 screws and hex nuts to secure that PermaProto in place. And from there, you just kind of snap fit everything together. I mainly covered the werewolf wiring, but all of those steps are applicable to the other two signs. So instead of kind of being redundant, I was like, all right, let me just pick one sign. And yeah. And that's kind of the whole guide in a nutshell. Just some good little tips here and there, but folks are free to kind of freeform it and play it by ear.
Totally.
Yeah, so it's one of those projects where...
yeah, in terms of the freeform, there's a nice banter chat, like good info in the Discord about the tin can. It's nice funny stuff there, trying to laugh out loud, the Canadian version of the Altoids. And good reminder from DJ Devin that we do sell a non-branded Altoids tin box. So definitely check that out.
Yeah, we do. That's so cool. Yeah.
It's probably the same one they use.
Mm.
But a nice little enclosure.
We got 31 in stock.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a great little enclosure. You can drill holes into it,
I wonder if I could
paint it, do all sorts of fun stuff.
I should probably add that. I'm going to print a little NinjaFlex gasket to make it, although it probably already is water resistant.
I don't have the normal size mint. I got the small mint, which I prefer these because I guess maybe this would... Oh, this one gives you different power and ground rails. And it's more like a full-size breadboard.
So many choices.
Yeah. So this would
Excellent.
fit this regular mint size. We're all learning together. Right?
About
Like, I don't
this.
even know what's in this stuff.
Yeah,
There's so much stuff in the store.
Yeah, I know. It's too much.
We have stickers for the mint.
Oh, how funny. I didn't know about this one
What's
either.
going on? That's hilarious.
Beautiful.
Folks. Yeah.
And then DJ Devin also posted a link to Amazon link on the cable cord hiders.
Thank you. I'm going to get those.
It's like same day delivery. Could you please post the heat shrink tube roll? When I search for that on YouTube, shirts come up. It's like, what? How does that make sense? How does heat shrink tube come up with a shirt?
Yeah, I'd like a roll of that. Cool. All right. So, yeah, all the stuff is in stock and get it while supplies last, huh?
Get it before. Actually, no. This type of project will definitely work into past Thanksgiving, into Christmas and beyond.
Yeah, think about some maybe
All
Christmas shapes or
seasons.
holiday shapes. Festival lights, right? Yeah, doesn't it look weird? Over the overhead?
It's way more brighter in person.
Yeah, these look vivid and bright, but just some reason
the purple
it's
looks
like dull.
kind of close to it.
Yeah, it looks okay.
It's more saturated in real life, but this green looks so dull.
Beautiful. It's very difficult to film these things. Yeah, we had to do a lot of color correction on in the Premiere.
Would you happen to know the size of the small ones? I don't know what the...
I don't. The
sizes
AWG.
are.
Yeah, I don't know. The gauge, the wire
Is it-
gauge. The small ones are 30
I was
gauge.
going to say maybe 30.
These are 28 gauge,
Yeah.
and I don't know.
I
what
think a
these are.
28 would be kind of universal, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe a 28.
That's a really small. I would do like maybe 20 gauge, 18 gauge for these big wires like this.
Although mostly we're messing with the smaller gauge ones,
Right.
like the 30 gauge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Oh, cool.
I use a lot of 30 gauge.
I will keep an eye on the chat for that, everybody. If you want to see all this cool banter, all the cool links,
One last
all
story.
the cool tips.
This was supposed to be a single strip, but like I ran out of them, so I had to salvage this one from some other project, and I was able to connect the data in to data out there, and no one's the wiser, right? But I would have preferred this to be just one continual strip. I just ran out of stuff. You can see here I'm kind of empty on the gap there. When it comes to the design of the channels and extrusion, I want to do a layer by layer on some of the design considerations and some of the features that kind of make it a little bit easier to kind of make these extrusions using the thin extrude infusion. But that's this week's project. Neon signs, getting more intricate with the animations and the shapes. Ooh. Spooky. How's everybody in the chat room? Are we spooked out?
Jump into discord.gg/Adafruit. Excellent links and tips and banter.
Yeah, man.
All the stuff is all linked in there. Excellent. All right, let's go ahead and jump into this week's What Are We Prototyping? I need to take these headphones off because otherwise I can't hear myself talk.
You're gonna sound. I'll keep my eye on the volume meter, so I'll know.
Oh,
All
there's
right.
the link for that. Oh, there you go. All right, so lots of
Clean up
updates every single week to Whippersnapper. It's our no-code IoT platform that Brent, Lauren, and CircuitPython team are working on. One of the new additions is the DS18B, which is a temperature gauge sensor control.
Yeah.
Waterproof. So this one we're using on our pool, so we can keep
This is
track.
the sensor?
Yeah, so we can keep track of, you know, all of the things that we want to know about, which is how long does a pool take to heat up based on the ambient temperature outside, like when it drops in temperature like the 60s and 50s, how long does that take to actually warm back up? How long does it stay warm at? And this is definitely to gauge like when we actually go into the pool. Being in like 90-degree temperature all the time, you know, anything in the 80s is gonna feel freaking cold to us, so it's a good way to know, oh, when can I chuck the kids into the pool so we can burn some energy. So this is a really good way to graph everything out and see how long things take, which translates into, oh, how much energy I'm gonna be using. Is this like 30 kilowatt hours that I'm gonna use up or what? And so what we're using inside here is a CircuitPy ESP32S2, and down at the bottom here we have one of the cool LC battery gauges. We can take a look at how long the battery's going to take to
You can just see the voltage of the battery. Is it dying? Is it low? Is it full?
voltage, percentage, all
Very,
that
very
good
useful.
stuff.
I'm seeing you use that in all of your IoT projects now. Like, it's so important to know the battery level, and I'm glad we have something now.
Yeah, I am going to try adding the solar panel on top, but some of the previous tests I've done on it, seeing if it can even charge up. It just, with as much sun that we have going on right now with the Earth tilting and everything, it's not as much charging we're getting off of that. So I'll try it out with this one. But yeah, we got the 2200 milliamp hour battery inside there, and that is this is the waterproof, not the high temperature one, because this does go up to, what was it, 250 C?
Yeah, let's take a look at the products. So
we're using the small water resistant case. So it has like the I'm blanking out on the name. The little gland in here, so
cable
water
gland?
doesn't get cable gland in there. And then on the back, I drilled a little hole to
hold on, I'm not
thread this guy through. And 3 of these are supported. We have the high temperature one, the I don't know what the name of the first one that shows up in the list here. Temperature sensor plus extras, yeah.
That's a temperature sensor?
Yep.
Okay. But these are like meant for being waterproof, submergible.
Yeah.
Right. So this is the one you're using, the DS18B.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's about $10.
Let's
and
click on it.
really,
Quick
for
look
the length,
at the temperature. So it's about, we're going to do Fahrenheit. Negative.
Yeah, negative 67 to
Whoa. To 257.
257.
That's not high temperature.
Yeah.
The high temperature one is like for
even
kilns,
higher, yeah.
for fire, maybe you're baking something. What if you stick this in your coffee? Could you find out how cold your coffee is?
Well, it's been in the pool, so I don't want to be drinking
That's gross.
chlorine.
All right, well, here's the high temperature one. Let's see what are the ranges on that one. Negative 10 C to 85 C or 257 Fahrenheit.
Sounds like the same.
It's the same, doesn't it? Maybe there's something about the...
Maybe the cable doesn't like fry. But in any case, we're only measuring. I didn't go too far before you guys.
Yeah, it's his prototype, so you're going to have to wrap it up anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In any case, I wanted to go into Adafruit.io and just show that it is on there. It's beta 53.
I'm not going to load it unless you want it to crash again.
Oh, okay.
So I don't think that was the problem, but we're gonna spend 30 minutes and you're not even gonna realize it. It's like we got a buggy.
Okay, so awesome addition to Whipper Cyber. We'll talk about it in a week or two.
Yeah.
Very nice addition. Excellent work. Super cool. I am very pleased. All right, let's go ahead and jump into this week's Community Makes.
Yeah. We're after skip shop talk. Just go check out the CAD parts repo for new parts.
Oh, I forgot to do the funny. I keep seeing it pop up all over in social media. I just want to take your temperature. Referencing the Jeffrey Dahmer.
Oh, man.
I just want to take your picture. I just want to take your temperature.
Well,
all right, let's go ahead and jump into shop talk.
Yeah, so check out the CAD parts. We got new parts, so they're up there. All right. Community Makes. Every week we find a 3D printed thing from the community and we 3D print it out. This week it's a jack-o'-lantern shaped like a Mickey head from Disney.
You found this one. I had no idea what to print. They're like, hey,
yeah,
it's a really cool pumpkin.
Yeah. This one's from mwafler. Posted this up. It's a free design on printables, I believe. You got some support material. You can add your Circuit Playground Express or LEDs, whatever, to it.
There are several different versions. One that wouldn't require the support materials. It has the little top that comes off and the ears separate, so you can print those in different colors. But I just wanted to print the whole thing. And
that's a very radiant orange.
Yeah.
It's like radioactive orange.
Yeah, I had to chuck this orange because it was so dry. Yeah, it was from Kodak.
We got to get ourselves a filament demoisturizer. It's like
there's
a
there's a dehumidifier in that whole room.
No, you can like, it's this little container that it's like meant for food.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It's like kind of like a.
Yep. So in here, of course, we want to highlight the Circuit Playground Express or the Blue Fruit one. Any of those work perfect for inserting into this year's carved pumpkin. This is just running some standard color change code. Super easy to do. And we got a little lipo on the back here with the Ninja Flex. So I'll probably put this in a Ziploc bag and stick it inside a real pumpkin. But for the kids, of course, they love having their own little Mickey pumpkin. Nice, super simple. I did have to use supports for the mouth and the nose, but other than that, pretty easy print.
Cool.
It's really nice.
Shout out to mwafler for posting this up. It's free download, and there's, like Victor said, various versions of it.
Oh, I should have did the glow-in-the-dark one.
Oh, yeah, look. Infill looks kind of cool there.
Yeah.
Very neat. So if you're into
that one.
Which one?
Oh, so good.
I like the kind of multicolor almost, just from the, the mix of the two things happening.
Very awesome. And I think we got a couple of other community makes. Let me go give the kid the pumpkin
finish
so he
the show
calms down.
So we got a prop maker prop maker lightsaber that was remixed. So shout out to Thingiverse user Mewboo for posting up their remix of the saber parts. If you want to build your own lightsaber, we got the parts in a learn guide. It's quite fun. I'd love to do another one, a more modern, optimized one at some point. All right, next up we have, this is kind of the last one. It's a make of something. It's the Raspberry Pi Zero stand. If you're looking for a way to stand up your Raspberry Pi Zero and maybe some accessories. This is a nice little 3D printed stand. So shout out to the JK Rules for posting up their make of the stand for the Raspberry Pi. Looking good there. Cool. And that's this week's Community Makes. Shout out to everybody for posting up their makes and letting us know.
All right. Definitely check out, again, Discord. You got to be in there. Adorable posts in there. Yep.
Ooh, that one's good.
All right, cool. I think it's going to be it for this show.
Yay, we ended a little bit earlier. Sorry about all the audio issues. Again, spooky episode, huh?
Wirecast.
I was going to say bad things. Hope we're positive. We got to stay negatively positive. Cool. Well, we hope to see everybody on tonight's show and tell, hosted by Lamar and Phil. I think we'll see some spooky costumes and whatnot. So bring your spooky attire if you'd like. But everything else is free, fair game. It starts at 7:30 p.m. And then Ask Engineer starts at 8 p.m. shortly after for a full hour of new products, open source hardware news, INMPI, and many other fun segments. Tomorrow is John Park's workshop at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Check out John Park building out some fun stuff. On Fridays, we have a deep dive with Tim, Foamy Guy, every 5 p.m. Eastern or 2 p.m. Pacific. On Sundays, you have Lady Ada streaming from the desk of Lady Ada, where she shows what she's working on. And then on Mondays, you have the CircuitPython weekly hangout with folks from the community. It happens every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern. So tune into that. On Tuesdays, we have the product pick of the week from JP. Every Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, or 1 p.m. Pacific, where you can get up to 50% off select items.
Insanity.
As a quick programming note, we will be off for the next 2 weeks. We'll return the following third week. So until then,
Happy birthday.
happy birthday. Yeah, my birthday's coming up. And yeah, we'll be back the second week in November, I believe.
Woo-hoo.
So that'll be fun.
Although we'll be off, we'll still release projects.
Yeah, there's still
that's
this
all we do.
project coming out. We got a Mickey Magic Band Reader. We have some more IoT projects and a whole slew of things that escaping my memory right now.
There's so much going on.
Yeah. So we'll miss you folks, but hopefully everybody stays inspired and positive and make some cool stuff.
And with all that said, don't forget to make a great day.
Oh. Bye folks. We'll
See you
see you
later
tonight.
tonight.